Hello, Virgo. Welcome to your September and October reading. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. It's good to see you. As always, this can be used for Sun, Rising, Moon, and Venus. Let's get straight into channeled messages. So, as I was tuning into dreams and meditation, what came through loud and clear was this solar plexus activation. In fact, what I saw was a cord that was being pulled out. This isn't always a bad thing because it's kind of like an umbilical cord. That's a necessary piece of gaining independence. Once you're born, you have to cut the cord, basically. And for some of you, there is this realization that now is the time. And it's a significant sort of shift. So there might be a person in your life that you're deciding to create some distance from. There might be a station in your life. Maybe it's a job, or maybe it's something that you've been focusing on. It could be like school, graduation, retirement, something where there's this pivotal moment where you're deciding, I've done all I can here. Now I need to go after this. And so I saw an umbilical cord being pulled out, and then I just watched as you took flight. And I was shown like the metaphor of a plane in my mind's eye, but this can just be spreading your wings, coming out of that chrysalis and deciding that now is the time. However, what was interesting was when I really tuned into the solar plexus, there is still like this feeling of can I, should I, am I ready? There was a little resistance when the cord was removed. So as we look at the cards in this 60-day period here, I want to look at opportunities for like when you can fully embrace what this next step is and, allow yourself to fly, and where you might be feeling like someone or something is tugging at your power center. This can be a parent, a boss, someone in your life that knows how to get in there and just sometimes make you question your authority or your ability to move forward, okay? So beautiful, powerful visuals that came forth, cutting the cord and setting flight. But I definitely felt solar plexus sensitivity and activation. So there might be some tests here on authority and leadership. So without any further delay, let's shuffle the cards and see how this is going to shape up. Okay, close your eyes for a moment and imagine that you're drawing a circle of light around your body. Within this circle, set the intention that you are connected to the planet, protected by your guides, and let's welcome in angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters. All right, let's get started with your catalyst. All right, Virgo, this is a really powerful card. It reads Wunyo, it's a rune, and it represents rebirth. There's a reminder that after the night comes the day, and sometimes we have to go through a challenging period in order to get to that breakthrough. Not always, but if you're kind of in the thick of it right now, this is encouragement and a reminder that there's something better awaiting. So if we read the sort of helper words at the bottom, it says joy, hope, and rebirth. And this is a seasonal card too. So I wouldn't be surprised for some of you if it hits during birthday season or even in a season of the year, sort of showing like a 3-month cycle. And as we're reading these videos here, September, October would be that beginning of the new cycle, setting us into something new, the last quarter of the year, October, November, December. So what we're seeing here is a shift or a turnaround beginning in the month of September, but culminating in October. And in this period of time, we go from a period of wondering, like, when is it going to happen? When's something going to work my way? To basically all of these energies, joy, hope, and rebirth. Whatever hasn't happened yet, let's do kind of like a mental reset and really start to open up to breakthroughs, synchronicities, opportunities. Sometimes it just requires that sort of new way of looking at something to help attract or open up that opportunity and see where it comes knocking. So suffice it to say, some good things are coming forth, But just like the Judgment card, there's a little bit of dust that needs to clear before you can rise up. And there may be attachment. If I go back to what I was seeing in channeled messages, the cord. What in your life are you holding on to? Is it an old relationship, an old job, an old way of thinking? When you release that cord, things start to get really exciting and things start to move. It almost felt like a bungee cord to me. This is kind of interesting. Bungee cords are these elastic cords that you can pull around an object and hook in, and so they can kind of stretch. But if you ever like unhook it, it'll like very quickly go in another direction. So if you were to untether yourself in either direction, you could actually spring into motion. So I feel like the moment you release the attachment, that's when you can start to fly. That's when the movement happens. So just letting go and opening up can be the catalytic energy that you need to really turn the page. All right, for those of you that are somewhat new to my 2-month spread, let me just walk you through how everything is organized. Over here, we have the energy of September. October is here. We have basically karmic energy here and then destiny here. 2 big takeaways for both of the months, and then some important cards to help us in the middle. We already talked about the catalyst. This card connects and bridges everything. This can be a block. Let's get started with your karmic energy, things that are coming through from the deep past. All right, we're kicking things off in a really good note here. The 3 of Wands is auspicious. It represents that you've been doing the work over the past few months, ostensibly even over the past year, to set things into motion. If we compare it with the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith card, you'll notice that in this modern version, the person is basically right in the middle of it. This one, he's kind of passive. He's looking at the ships coming in. So your opportunity right now is to realize that what you seek is happening right here, right now, and it's a card that's encouraging you to get out there, to mix and mingle. Not only that, this is a card connected to travel. So in order to make something happen, you might have to have a face-to-face conversation. This is also allowing you to kind of embrace the nowness of the situation. Let me break it down. Instead of thinking, I wish I could have done that, why can't I be doing this? All of this could have, would have, should have. You're going to say, today I can do this, which will open up this opportunity tomorrow, now and next. That's really the focus. And when you do that, then you'll start to see things moving quicker than you anticipated. And sometimes it takes us by surprise when we see a dream come to reality. So try to release any sense of imposter syndrome or any doubts that might be clouding, I should say, your vision, because now is your time. That's basically what I'm getting here. And see it to fruition. See your vision through. This one is kind of wistfully thinking, but this one is in the middle of it. So I'd love for you to roll up your sleeves and just say, let's make this happen. Now is the time. All right, let's take a look at what's coming through in the past influence for the month of September. And just to help orient you, yes, we're talking about September now. So the past energy is also very, very good. 3 of Pentacles perfectly pairs up with the 3 of Wands. This is recognition, partnership, graduation, higher learning. Everything's coming together. It also reminds you, just as we see here, that teamwork makes the dream work. If you need some help in accomplishing something, why not bring in the most skilled people that you know? Surround yourself with talent, partner up with people that are also interested in similar things, and exciting things can come forth. I'm looking at the rest of this spread here just because I was curious, what does it look like? And it's good. So we have 3 of Pentacles, 6 of Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles, opportunities, movement, and growth, okay? But let's continue to talk about this for a moment. If you are thinking of going to school, or perhaps since this is in the past, you want to finish up something that you started, yes, go back and get that degree or get that program or that experience, because all of those skills are coming forth now and they're very valuable. If you've already done the work, maybe this has just been hidden beneath the surface and now it's time to bring it to the forefront and say, hey, did you know I have experience here, or I have passion here, or I'd like to learn about this. Very, very good energy overall, okay? So lean into your experience. Feel free to expand a little bit more if you need additional experience. But what I'm seeing right here is that you've already done the work, and I feel like you're more ready to kind of step into something than others may give you credit for, or you may realize. And as we step into the energy of the present for September, here's what we've got. Six of Pentacles. It's all about choices. The card is reversed. The scales can tip into your favor provided that you don't overextend yourself. To get it into the upright position, you have to learn to say no, and you have to make choices that really are tuned into your vision, your goal, and your well-being. There's always going to be outstretched hands. The Six of Pentacles reminds us to work smarter, not harder. Something usually has to give with the Six of Pentacles. It's usually the timing, the amount of resources, or the scope. And so when you can limit or adjust or somehow pull in a little bit more or less of one of those, the scales start to balance out. So your opportunity this month is to show someone how this is in their benefit. And remember that it works two ways. So we have a lot of outstretched hands. Sometimes you have to ask too. You can't constantly give or the battery is depleted. So say no as needed, show any inequities or imbalances, and not only that, come through with a solution. Say, I think we both want this, but to make it happen, I'm going to need more of this, less of this, etc., etc. If you can do that, I think you can accomplish your goal, and you're going to set into motion this, the Ace of Pentacles, in the future position. So I actually feel like many of you may wrap something up and get a new opportunity here. So we have the rebirth energy coming forth here, and you get to decide, what do I want to do next? So we can read this in like three different ways. Some of you just finished up a big chapter, and maybe you didn't think about what came after that. This is a chance now to imagine something new, something different. Some of you may also be presented with an option, and you have to decide with those scales, does this make sense for me? And some of you may just simply find this new inspiration. The ace can work in all of these ways. She is cautiously looking at that coin and deciding, what do I want to do with it? And your connection to this, conviction to this as well, and your ability to also believe in it, these are the things that are going to allow it to grow faster and go where you want it to go. The fact that this is empowered by all of these beautiful cards preceding it. Three of Wands, it can happen now. Three of Pentacles, you have support, you have recognition, you have experience bringing it forth. You just have to find the right timing and the right balance to make sure that you don't get distracted. But ultimately, this is good. In love, which we'll talk about a little bit later, the Ace of Pentacles can be someone who says, I love what you're doing. I love what you have to offer. Are you on board? Okay? Let's look at the takeaway for the month of September. We have a card that's associated with stress, and it's interesting that we see the energy of the devil behind it. This is basically saying don't give too much weight or airtime or brain bandwidth to the fear or the anxiety. And I was talking a little bit about this earlier. Instead of could've, should've, would've, instead focus on right here, right now, and then what comes next. The now and the next can help you get beyond this. But there's a lot going on, and you may be stressed. Take a break. Take a step back. Get some perspective. Invariably, the Nine of Swords is just fear. I say just. Fear can be incapacitating, but the general interpretations on this card is you're making something bigger than it needs to be. So whatever you need to do to get some clarity and some context, go for it. Talk to a friend, talk to a mentor, talk to a therapist. All of these things, they're not mutually exclusive. I'm finding the traditional card while we're talking. This can also be insomnia or working yourself to the point that you're seeing some diminishing returns because you're lacking focus and the fearful thoughts are taking center stage. So it's important to break before you break down. We don't want that. So take a vacation, take a holiday, take a day, and sleep on an important decision, because when you come back, the shadow of fear that we see in the background will have dissipated, and you can see it from all of the bright, brilliant energy that we see all around it here, okay? Now we're going to start to bridge the energy between the 2 months. We're going to start with literally the connection to see how these 2 months are coming together. Beautiful segue. Couldn't have planned it better if I wanted to. We have the Four of Swords, which is putting it to rest. And this is an elevated version of what we just saw. Sleep on it. If I'm not clear today, tomorrow will give me more clarity. If I'm burned out today, let me approach this with a clean sort of perspective. Now, there are about 4 major transformative and release cards. So death, of course, being chief among them, judgment, the other side of death. Then we have the 6 of Swords and the 4 of Swords. 6 of Swords, you're actively moving away from something or moving on. The 4 of Swords, you're just closing the book on it. So that cord that I saw in the solar plexus, it feels like towards the very end of September, you're finally ready. You may have even decided, I'm going to release that cord. But I think it's the next month that we're looking at where the release truly comes through. You're putting a close to it at the end of September, and by the beginning of October, you're liberated. Make sure that you're getting quality and quantity of sleep, and if it is inhibited, it could be just stress. And it's important to look at the holistic view of your health, mind, body, spirit. Emotional health and mental health absolutely affect the physical. So make sure that you're getting the support that you need. Take a look at because we have 2 cards associated with sleeping, let's take a look at your sleep habits. We'll talk more about that when we go into health, but is your bed supportive of your back? Is your pillow supporting your neck? Do you have any breathing challenges at night? How is your diet, exercise, and other sort of health habits affecting sleep quality and quantity? You have to work with a doctor to sort these things out. Now is the time to do so, though, okay? Let's see what else is coming through. Here's your potential block. It's not a bad one, though. I believe it's just pure and familial pressure, but this is the one thing that could keep you stuck or keep you still. All right, this represents those contracts in our life that sometimes are the hardest to kind of separate ourselves from. So a soul contract as you come into this life, oftentimes with your parents, sometimes with your sibling, it can also be with a loved one. The 10 of Pentacles can represent that solid contract. Some of you are deciding to release the contract and say, I need to move in a different direction, or you're graduating into a new level of self-actualization is the word that comes through. I almost never say that, but that's exactly how it came through. So you're realizing something about yourself that is confined by this. So this can also be mom, dad, and coworkers, and there's another one, culture. So these are ties that keep us kind of like supported, but sometimes they keep us bound in one way of being. So you have all of this support, but there's someone in your life in this group that may not be able to understand why you want to try something different, something unusual. So you're releasing the cord. And because I was so clear that it was an umbilical cord, it's coming through maternal. It doesn't have to be specifically a mom. It can be mom, dad, aunt, uncle, doesn't matter. But they come through with very loving energy, but sometimes to the point of like micromanaging or kind of like helicoptering in, and it's a little codependent or a little bit controlling. So you get to release that cord. Even though it's coming from a place of love, it's too much. So boundaries are key. You don't have to, here's one thing that's interesting. Cutting a cord doesn't mean cutting someone out. When you release the unhealthy cords, you can create better ones for someone that you still love. Boundaries and communication can help you establish a connection that is mutually beneficial rather than a one-way cord that diminishes your energy, okay? The other thing here is someone in your immediate circle may need more of your support. This could be your partner, this could be a parent, someone around you is having a moment, and because you love them, it could pull you in another direction. But again, 10 of Pentacles is a block, not the worst. It's just because those people that are closest to us sometimes know exactly how to get under our skin. That's the frustrating part of it. All right, let's transition into the second month. We're going to look at October, and we're going to move into the past energy of October. All right, so here we have 5 of Cups in reverse. Interesting. So for those of you that have made a decision to move beyond something or someone, this is the grieving process. And it takes time. As someone who's been through it multiple times, having lost both parents, it's different for every loss that you have. And you learn to incorporate what was into what is now. What I love about this is we see some new growth coming through when she's ready to turn around and look. But not a moment before, really. Also, look at the beautiful illustration. We can see that she's lost in her thoughts. There's that ship that's kind of like floating there. It's almost like an ocean. Ocean of thoughts and emotions are kind of tugging at her. I really do think it would be helpful to talk to someone if you're feeling a lot, feeling heavy emotions. It might also be a great time to connect with this beautiful Three of Pentacles energy again, which could be getting involved with a class, a hobby, a sport, an activity that helps take you away from some of those thoughts and grounds you into the present. That's going to also help you meet the Two of Cups energy right behind her, which is love, friendship, camaraderie. Okay? Also, we've talked a great deal about releasing coulda, woulda, shoulda. Another way to put a word around this is regret. There is no room for regrets in your life. Now is the time to take the ace that we just saw in September and basically feed it, nurture it, breathe life into it. And don't beat yourself up. Be kind to yourself. That's the main takeaway that I get from that. All right, moving onward to the energy of the present. You received the Four of Pentacles in reverse. Let's look at the traditional version of this card. So this represents something that is not enough. And we see a person holding on for dear life. It's a mentality that if I let this go, maybe nothing better will come through. It's basically the art of settling, or the act of settling. And it's coming through from a place of scarcity. This is the best that it's going to be. This is all I deserve. It's not real. It's this energy coming through. It's the energy of the devil. And that's why I call it the devil you know. Because there is that silly phrase, which I'm going to challenge right now, that says, better the devil you know than the devil you don't. Folks, either way, they're devils. The devil you know is not enough. So what you want to do when you've identified that this isn't sort of sustaining or fulfilling me is do the research. Do some networking. Read some books. Get out there. Explore. Something better awaits. And you might have already landed on it, but you're afraid to let go of something else. So once you've identified your next step, take the leap of faith, pull out the cord. And we talked about that pivotal moment probably being between these 2 months. So this is the holding on, but it's reversed. So you're already kind of halfway there. If you know what you want, go for it. This card is about as clear as it gets with tarot, that what awaits you is better than what you're holding on to at this moment, okay? In a relationship, in a job, in an opportunity, someone may be stingy. Someone may not be giving everything that you're giving. And that is a lesson that we learned in the previous month, that that's not enough. We need equity. And so if you're not seeing it and you've already articulated what you need, then now you have the green light to say, thanks, but no thanks, okay? Powerful message there. Looking at what's coming through in the future, it's good. It's great, in fact. So in the future position, we have the Chariot. The Chariot is upright. The Chariot is waiting for you to turn the key in the ignition. It depends which deck you're looking at, but like in modern interpretations, this could be a car or a motorcycle. It's a vehicle that's ready to take you to the next level. What you need is clarity. Where am I going? The GPS. And then sometimes you have two helpers on this, like horses or sphinxes or other animals will make appearances here. So the power of 3 has come through quite a bit today. So we have it here in the Three of Wands, Three of Pentacles, and then again in this typical card you would see 2 sphinxes or 2 horses here. They're up here, 2 birds. There's always 3 different individuals, so there they are. So this is a chance to work with others to bring something to the finish line. This is leadership personified, though. So again, we're looking at the future here for October. Are you ready to step into that leadership role? If you are, great things await. This is also a card of fighting for something, not like just arguing, but saying, I want this. I'm ready to do the work. I'm ready to raise my hand and volunteer or speak up and go for this. Take the reins, turn the ignition. It's very entrepreneurial. So if you're ready, then everything is looking really optimistic and very auspicious as we're looking at the close of October. Before we move on to Destiny, let's take a look at the takeaway here. Queen of Wands, Ultimate Boss card. So October is bringing you that leadership energy that's intrinsic to this card. Lean on your creativity, lean on your instincts. I love that the sunflowers are all around her. This is showing that you're leading, not following. Sunflowers follow the leader. So this is a moment where leadership and boss energy are coming through loud and clear. It's also saying that if you want to do something, you are the person, you are the right one. So don't be afraid to step to the front and volunteer. This is a very creative and a very psychic card, nicely connected with like High Priestess and Magician energy. And even if there's a challenging situation, you can land on your feet, okay? All right, let's go to Destiny now. So in the Destiny card, we have the Ace of Wands. You have two aces. You may have actually two opportunities in front of you, and that's why we have a lot of balancing energy in that Six of Pentacles as we were looking at the previous month. This is cool because it represents a newfound vitality. So when we're looking at Wunyo here, the rebirth energy and the hope energy really come forth with this. So at the end of the 60-day period, there is this, it's a reboot of sorts. And the question that comes through my mind is, am I awake or am I asleep, or is this real? It's like you got to pinch yourself. This is happening. This is real. So we see something really exciting coming forth. You may have a couple of things that you're trying to do. I feel like you can balance them both out, but you have to be practical and tactical about how you're going to make it all happen. Be prepared to juggle a little bit, Virgo, and some great things can come forth. Okay? Let's go ahead now and dig a little bit deeper into health, wealth, and love and see what's in store for this 2-month period. Health, wealth, and love. All right. We're going to start off first with the energy of health, and it's quite good, actually. We have the Star card. So the Star card is in reverse. For some of you, you're holding back a little bit. We have that next step of the journey that you're ready to take, but hesitation, fear, anxiety, etc. are kind of holding you back. I think it's the right time for you to go after that dream, that ambition, that version of you, so that you can feel whole, because if not now, then when? A star is meant to shine. It's not meant to be blocked out by the clouds, by your own fear, by your own anxiety. So if there is anything that's dimming your light, or if there's anyone in your life that doesn't allow you to kind of like bombastically be yourself, be true and be real, now is the time to kind of cut the cord with them. Ultimately, the Star card is a very happy, healthy energy, definitely connected to spiritual development. So if you're wanting or needing to go a little bit deeper down that spiritual path, now is the time for sure. All right, let's see what else is coming through on this journey of the next 2 months. Looking at September, stress management. I talked about it earlier, but it's really important. Quality and quantity of sleep, and how you're able to use your own tools to deal with stress in your life. That's the first thing. There's a desire to travel and to learn that's coming forth, and I think that could help combat some of this energy. So getting involved with the community, doing some things besides work, broadening your network, all of that could be very helpful. Familial and also work pressure are leaning on you more than usual. So again, finding things in your life that give you space and the ability to breathe and the ability to shine separate from that. Very, very important. As we're looking at October, it actually starts to brighten up a little bit. I am seeing some tension that you're holding on to. You may feel it around the heart center, around your neck and upper back. And again, this might be from how you're positioning yourself, if you're typing too much, or if you just tend to hold your stress there. We want to open up the heart chakra through breathing, through exercise that kind of helps with the chest area. That's where I'm seeing it. And then I picked up on the, of course, in the channeled messages, solar plexus energy. So digestion, stress that you feel from work that goes into your sort of stomach area where you feel like you have butterflies. Obviously working on the emotional aspects of it, but also seeing if there's anything going on in the stomach. That could be possible as well. And that's pretty much everything for health. It's a good spread overall. Most of the things that I'm picking up on are more on the stress management side. Okay, let's take a look at wealth. It's an interesting card here that came forth. We have the Five of Wands, and it's in the reverse position. So many of you are done with something. What we see here typically in the Five of Wands is conflict. But what we also see in this one is a divisive energy. And it feels like you're either completely over something or you want to enter into this with the Chariot energy and say, I can bring order to chaos. So fight the battles worth fighting and then know when it's time to walk away. Remember also that things shouldn't be too much energy or too much work. It should be reciprocated. So even though we're looking at the energy of wealth, if you're doing all the work and no one else is doing it, there's an equity there. And if you're looking at work relationships, if you're working really hard for your boss or your coworkers and they're not putting in the same, why? This is a chance for you to recalibrate, okay? Let's break it down. For those of you that are currently employed, what's coming through? Okay, actually both months look good. There's different challenges overall. What I'm looking at in the month of September is a chance for you to see something to the finish line. You might be stressed, don't burn out. Nobody's expecting as much from you as you are. And if there is a boss or a supervisor that's asking for something unrealistic, just use the energy of the Six of Pentacles. Say, I can do this much now, and I'm going to need additional help if you want this much. Keep your boundaries, articulate it, cover your bases, don't overpromise. That's the big takeaway here. At the end of the day, you're going to give exactly what's needed. Even if it's not everything that's wanted, sometimes people want too much, and you have to kind of keep them real, right? Keep them realistic. Again, I think that getting an adequate sleep is going to be important. Otherwise, you could get sick. We don't want that. The emotional burden of this work and this sort of desire to accomplish and be accomplished, that needs to be kept in check, because this can be overworking, especially with respect to what we see there, okay? Think of a new and better way to approach that. I like the energy of October far more than this. It looks like leadership energy is starting to be seen, like people see you as a voice and a visionary. You can also find your own energy, and it seems like there's a healthier perspective here. But this in-between energy between September and October is when you want to be very gentle with yourself, okay? Some of you are stressed about like longevity at the job. If something were to happen, it would be like the very end of September, very beginning of October. The rest of the months seem to be pretty solid, so maybe that can help put things at ease. If you want something, speak up and get it in writing. That's the main thing, okay? Let's move on to those of you that are entrepreneurs. Overall, a very strong spread. Like you may have two different product lines that you're trying to launch, or two different goals that are in front of you. You can accomplish both. You have to be realistic, though, with respect to both actual resources and human resources. Don't overcommit. I worry about your own stress. I think if you can lean on an existing leader in your company or hire someone that can help you out, that would be advisable. Again, learning from past mistakes, but focusing on how to leverage existing opportunities is key. And overall, this is a very bright, energetic period here. I would love to see more resources overall. It looks like there's some of these that are kind of, it's almost like you can't touch them for a little bit. So you may need to finish something, and this is the pressure, like let's rush it out. Make sure that quality projects and products make it to the light of day so that you can truly realize this. You don't want to have any regrets that, hey, I rushed that to the finish line. But overall, pretty good energy. This Four of Pentacles is fascinating because there might be a tendency to want to cut too deep and discount things, or to shoulder some of the costs from customers. This is the tipping point. You can't do it anymore in October. You can do it for a little bit in September, but you can't here. And this might be, again, a time to recalibrate costs, okay? And make sure that you're not at a breaking point. All right, let's move on. Now we'll take a look at those that are seeking employment, job seekers. There are opportunities in both months. I actually feel like there's far more in September. We have one coming through at the end. It seems pretty good, but take a look at the stress, like what's expected of you. Make sure that the pay and the hours that are expected are worth this, because I do see you kind of being overworked potentially. Now, if you're not seeing something materialize, this can be education, Three of Pentacles. So you might decide to get some sort of training or certification, and I would encourage that. This is also just budgeting, and I do see the sort of, the best word is like stress and fear associated with it, because it feels like you really need and want something. You can make it work this month, but it starts to get tricky next month. So maybe you're also going to balance 2 jobs in this period of time. It has to be a realistic split. Like you can't, there's only so many hours in a week and you need to get enough sleep. So I would rather you try, if you can negotiate for more hours at one job rather than getting a second, or better pay at one. That second one tips the scales to the point of exhaustion. So just make sure it's worth the trade-off. Or you'll have to lean on the support of others. If you're looking for when you can find one job that really fits, October's looking really good actually towards the end. I like the Chariot and I like the Ace of Wands. So if you can wait, October looks better. If you're looking at September, you're going to have to negotiate a little bit more for salary. Where can you find someone? Through existing groups. The Ten of Pentacles can often be like a former classmate and possibly even a coworker that you used to work with. Okay, moving on to students. Students, overall pretty good. You're just not resting enough. But I mean, this is one of the best cards, Three of Pentacles, for education. And you're getting a lot out of this period of time. If I could look at any areas of opportunity, there may be a place where you're feeling like your creativity is not tapped into, or you're not getting enough. So as you look at the next semester, ask yourself, do I still need to take this section or this minor? There might be a little bit of an adjustment here, or see if you can get a different teacher for the next part of this class. I get that. It also feels like you're holding back just a little bit. When we're looking at the conflict energy that we talked about here too, think about the fights that are worth fighting. Sometimes you just have to finish something. It feels like this is a prereq that's getting on your nerves in October. It's not going to, once you get through this, you'll be happy that you did it, and it feels like it's brighter after that. So I get it, but overall the energy is pretty beneficial. Have some things that are going on outside of school, extracurricular projects, and also make sure that you're doing something that you're passionate about. It's all about the passion. Retirees, I feel the pinch on the pocketbook. Money's not going to the same level that it used to because there's been changes in the world, and currencies rise and fall, things of that nature. You also just might be looking at what you're putting your time and energy into and thinking, that stresses me out, or that fatigues me. I'm giving too much here. So this is just a chance to use that power of no, which we talked about in the Six of Pentacles, and follow your passion and your vision. And sometimes it's even family that can take too much of the time and energy. So make sure that you have proper boundaries. Overall, pretty manageable. Okay, let's move on now to the next category, which is love and relationships. Okay, Knight of Swords in reverse. Slow down. This is a time to slow down and be more present. What's the rush? Don't rush into or out of something, and don't rush through a part of your life. Enjoy the scenery. That's the big takeaway there. Looking at it in 3 different categories. If you're presently in a partnership, be mindful of having any important conversations when you're in the energy of the Nine of Swords, because this is fear speaking or fatigue speaking. Take a break. One interesting thing that I see here is there's one partner that tends to put in a lot more, and then there's another one here who holds back. Create some space. Let the partner know that you value their feedback, and it's frustrating when you don't know where they stand. You can't always force them. There's different communication styles. What I get here is one person says what's on their mind, unedited. Knight of Swords is hasty, especially when reversed. Queen of Wands is thoughtful. She shows, I love you. She shows, I care. And there's still passion, and there's still commitment. So I'm just seeing some communication differences and some external stresses that could be getting in the way. It feels manageable to me. There may also be some travel that is creating some unusual distance between the two of you, so try to find a way to get past that and maybe spend some time together, okay? Moving on to those that are single and looking. Can you find love? Yes. So school, activities, and anything related to education or learning, absolutely. Travel is a great place to meet new people. You might need to free up some time in your schedule so that once you meet someone that you actually have time to develop it. But what I actually see the person showing up in October. It feels like you're creating space and manifesting it. And then by the time October comes through, we actually have the Queen of Wands, a nice fire energy coming forth with a lot of passion. So it feels like this is a person who shows it, they don't say it, and you don't need to talk as much. There's a lot of instinct, intellectual, intuition, and passion. So the conversation may come more from one person, but the other person is just showing it. Again, I'm seeing that. The only thing that's kind of interesting, because I picked up on it in the intuitive portion when I was channeling, Queen of Wands can be formative and formidable, rather, I should say. She has that ability to pull things in. So I definitely see that with the Chariot and also with the Queen of Wands. There's a little bit of controlling energy, maybe even a little bit of maternal energy. So be mindful of that and ask yourself if you're ready for that, okay? Have good boundaries overall. And now let's take a look at single and happy. Good for you. Perfect time to be single and happy. This is a great time to learn something new. It's a perfect time to set things into motion, create better balance and budget of, overall for your time and your energy. And it feels like there's a couple of things tugging at your time and attention. So decide, I think it's about priorities over this 60-day period. See what you want to put your time and energy into the most, okay? Now, let's take a look at the final card for today. This can be anything that you still need some clarity on. Go ahead and ask Spirit, and I'm going to shuffle the cards. Okay, we got two. Very, very interesting. All right, so for your final card, we have the Two of Cups, and then beneath it, we have the Ten of Swords. So this is a rebounding energy. This is a story of a rebound. We'll start with the Two of Cups. If you asked a yes or no, the Two of Cups says yes. But beneath the surface, there's a little bit of healing to be done. So know that the past is very much in the past, but sometimes it takes like a cut. It takes a while for the wound to heal, for you to feel like you're on steady ground. Don't rush. Back into that Knight of Swords energy reversed. Take your time. Let the healing happen. Know that this new chapter is better than the last. Open yourself up to new partnerships and new opportunities. Pay attention to your physical and your mental health. There could the Four of Swords and the Nine of Swords could be taking their toll on you. So you may feel that even though there's all this great stuff and all these activities and new people that might be coming in, suddenly you find yourself a little exhausted or sick or wondering why, you're not immediately ready to jump in. Take your time, take a couple breaths, take a couple steps. There is no rush. And that's pretty much everything with this. But better days are ahead. Healing takes a while. Okay? These two are not mutually exclusive. You can be healing and also be going through some great things at the same time. That, my friends, is everything for today. What an honor and a pleasure it was to read for you. If you liked this, and I hope you did, please do me a favor. If you're new here or if you've watched a long time and never subscribed, please subscribe. It's 100% free. It will give you notifications when new videos land here. And why not? That's a great thing. You can also hit the thumbs up and opt into notifications so you never miss out on a future video. Give me a follow on social media as well. That way, just in case Google and YouTube doesn't send the notification, you can get it on the platform of your choice. It's Nicholas Ashbaugh on just about every platform. On Blue Sky, it's nicholasashbaugh.com, which of course is also my website, and you can go there for news, information, and updates. If you'd like to give back just a little bit more, you can do it by putting a sticker with your comment or becoming a channel member. Either way, thank you so much. I do appreciate you. Thanks again, everyone, from Apollo and I. We wish you a great couple of months ahead. I'll see you again very soon. Take care.